What's up, guys? MIDGAME here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we're revitalizing all of our series because it sounds like you guys really miss the meme teams, relatable accounts, free-to-play accounts, and even the spenders like the Betty account. Now, the Betty account will be returning. However, this one is going to be a little different. This is what we are going to call the B series, which means we are never going to upgrade our heroes to Giant Killer, and we're going to use a kind of established account as a good foothold to get to a progression point where a lot of you guys can relate, because you guys are like, Barry, as fun as the early game is, I'm kind of tired of seeing it. I don't want to only see that on free-to-play accounts. And this one is a VIP 6, and it is all thanks to to retire from the 420, basically. So we are borrowing an account, and they're going to help us do our dailies on this one. And this is going to be the official account of the B series here. So as you guys can see, we're in a pretty decent spot here. We have what, 7 Transcendence heroes overall. We don't have any Destiny transition unlocked, anything like that yet. We do have, of course, X stones that we're upgrading, and we are in the process of like upgrading these heroes to the point where they're getting ready for Destiny transition, which I think a lot of people are at this position here. Yes, there's new bosses, there's Horde, there's all these different things. Haven't really done much here, and we're only just breaking into chapter 3. Resident suits are on the table of things we can unlock, so this is going to be a really good starting point for us to use on this account. Now, in order to really get a good handle on what we have going here, we need to take a look at artifacts, and artifacts are in an absolutely amazing spot. Even the extra block on Hyperspace Hunter Ilamok, I don't mind it whatsoever. We have melodic strings, we have some energy feed, and we have some crowns, even some flags on some supporter heroes down here as well, and a decent array of different heroes that we can use in the future for tenants and other things. We have tons of food, so food is going to be in a good spot too for us to progress. And of course, holy cow, we got a lot of stuff that has been sitting AFK on this account. We got a lot of stuff that we can potentially do. Even X stones are pooled here. Chess is one thing I haven't taken a look at yet. Eggs is going to be one thing we need to go through really quick, and I'm intrigued to see, because of that, what we look like. Okay, again, another pretty good spot to work on. This can be the nice transition in going into the star energy integration, getting the special upgraded star spawn going as well. So I'm not mad at that either. As far as chests go, we got some decent resources piling up. We got some single shards. Doesn't look like we have anything super premium sitting waiting for us. All these are probably, yeah, the really small cheapo chests that are just resource chests. We do have a lot of skins at our disposal, and tons of hero copies for awakenings, but we are tapped out, it looks like, on just about every other type of chest at the moment. In the bag, we have a couple other artifacts ready to go. And as far as our treasure train power goes, we are sitting at a probably low power level. Yeah, 138,000 fixed attack. This is probably something a lot of you guys are used to seeing when you jump into your treasure train, because, well, treasure train is like the biggest pay to win gap I feel there is. It's even easier, I think, getting better hero copies nowadays than getting treasure train stuff. So we are sitting on some contract starry gems, which is nice. But it's not going to do much for us. We can even build another Transcendence hero, but at this point, there's really no need to build additional Transcendence heroes. It's just enhancing the support that we currently have. Let's take a look at our main household here and see what's going on. Almost maxed out. Again, really nice to see. We have some few points kind of scattered across all these, which is not necessarily the best thing to do. We have the toolbox. Oh, master toolboxes. That's why it's spread around, because master toolboxes is the biggest issue. Well, first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to be getting as much power onto this hero as possible. What that means, though, is tweaking some things up as far as support heroes go and who is powered up. So one of the big things we're probably going to do here is this Freya. I don't know if we care about Star Expedition at all, although she does really help with bosses as well. I'm thinking about getting rid of this Vesa completely, and I'd love to know your guys' comments on this, because I want this very much to be a group effort on what we decide to do moving forward on the B series, because like I said, we're never going above a B roll right here. I'd love to get a higher B plus attack on him. We'll do that eventually. But for the moment, yeah, we need to power up Elena, because the most important part of having an account at this power level is making sure this has the most power in it. Having things like this is a little bit of a waste, honestly. Even if we only have one home and the other homes are just like kind of like niche supporters, that's fine. Our goal is to get this attack value as high as possible, and by having Elena not be pretty much where Vesa is, that's the big issue. The other thing is, now that Destiny Transition is a thing, Vesa has pretty much become irrelevant because the healing between the combination of Scarlet Queen Halora and Phantom Fire Elena is just, it's so good. It's amazing. It's awesome. Let's take a look. Do we have anything else on these heroes just yet? The answer is pretty much no. So sublimation is going to be one of the biggest things we need to be paying attention to. As far as trees go, we got like what, 100? This one's almost done. I mean, geez, that kind of was a little bit of a mistake. We'll probably remedy that one. We might have to swap away from the hero and swap back in to get the resources back. Vesa's at 100. Queen's only at 60, and then we have nothing over here. So you guys can see we need to do some tuning on this account. Now we are up to 3-1, which is an amazing spot. However, this is where it gets really difficult because you start facing these waves that are so annoying. These Valkyries are going to be the end of our life, essentially. We do have all the monsters, which is cool to see, and we only have this one core to use at the moment. I'll show you guys where we're at stuck as far as campaign goes. It's nice to see that we are into the campaign though, but you'll notice this is where the speed starts happening, where the enemy is going before us, and that means getting someone like a Therapist of Blood Betty on this squad I think is going to be very important. I'd probably get rid of the Star Swordsman Mockman that we even have on this account and invest in more power. You can see here we're floundering because number one, we don't have the damage right now, and number two, we don't have crowd control. So I think two of the moves we're gonna do is get rid of the Vesa, and we're also going to get rid of the Star Swordsman Mockman. I think that together is probably the best things we can do. We're going to replace that with powering up the Phantoms of Fire Elena all the way up to maximum. Same with the Scarlet Queen Halora. I think honestly even Freya might not be something we keep on this account right now. Hyperspace Hunter Ilamok, definitely keep it around. There's just a lot of things we need to retool, and hopefully this will give you guys some insight if your account is similar, because this is a pretty normal looking account. You got Lord of Fear Aspen, Phantom of Fire Elena, Scarlet Queen Halora. That's your first three heroes. Then you add on Hyperspace Hunter Ilamok, and then that's when you can kind of like have some freedom, and that's what we're going to retool this to. And I think what we have is 75 soul symbols, so we need to make sure we do this smartly and not go too crazy and mess this up, because the other thing is we do need to start trying to take out these bosses here. This boss will be so much easier once we have our crowd controlling into this team here. When we have a Betty, that'll become much easier for us, and there's a lot of different game modes that we need to check up on, so there's going to be a lot of content to be doing, especially once we retool this account and get the power in the correct location. So this one here, typically they CC a lot, which you guys can see becomes an issue if you can't CC the enemy right out of the gate. We do have like some good shielding, dodging, all that, but you can see here it does still become very difficult in this situation. So not the best look. We can try to get lucky the next time, because we do have a decent amount of power on our Aspen. It's not optimal, of course, but that is something we can work towards. I think what we will do is next Soul Awakening Gala that we participate in, we're going to use all those B stones on Aspen copies, because I think we're going to build an Aspen Tenant as well, because the Aspen Tenant will be much stronger than the Tenant that we currently have, which is a Drake. Not saying Drake's bad, it's just Drake's not as good. If you know what I mean. Yeah, we're getting destroyed before we can even get an active off to see what our damage looks like. So this one is not gonna happen. Let's just make a little update and see where we are at on the chapter 1 boss. While we're at it, we already beat 1 level of it, which isn't a lot. Honestly, this is probably gonna go pretty south really quickly here. We are not even blocking attacks, which is a big problem. And that's why not having Treasure Train becomes the issue, because you need to have your Void Imprinting set up a certain way so that certain things can happen, like, you know, blocking attacks and getting shield is very important when you have a hyperspace hunter team. When you don't have treasure train, you need to come up with that block from the imprints or the artifacts or the stones, because you're not going to get it passively like you see a lot of end game accounts have, which is the biggest difference between end game accounts and normal looking accounts like this, where you're only looking at B heroes. So let's see how this kind of goes. If we can get a couple actives off, we might be okay, but we might die just from the reflect damage, to be honest, especially since we haven't built up any shields. Yeah, Aspen didn't block a single attack, so we're gonna have to retool these heroes. We're gonna have to build different heroes, and then I think we'll be in a much better situation. As much as Freya seems like a decent supporter, I don't know if she fits at her power level right now, and you want her at this power level typically for the last tree branch so that she can add additional damage to your team against poison targets. But yeah, this looks like this is gonna go down as a big loss. Everybody's living now that they're blocking stuff, but yeah, once you get to 5 and 6 and you start getting that reflect damage, it goes poorly. I think we'll be able to upgrade them very, very soon though. I don't think it'll be too much of an issue, and then we will be able to finally jump in here and activate Destiny Transition. We're passively acquiring those resources now as well. If you take a look right here, we are now generating both the Scattered Spirit Vein and the Aurora Gems. So fingers crossed, this is going to be a fun series. We're going to retool it next time. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys want to see, what you want me to build, and see how optimal we can make this or convert this into. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I love to hear you guys' feedback, and I'll see you guys next time.